Hey guys, this week for Weapons Wednesday, instead of doing a theme like I usually do, I figured it'd be more fun to just grab a bunch of our new weapons and just take a look at them a little bit. But before we begin, if you could just like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be awesome. So the first weapon we're going to look at is the Railroad Spike Fist Blade. And I love this knife because it's very, very unique. It's actually a railroad spike that's been hammered and forged into a blade. We're going to be carrying a bunch of different types of these, so I'm actually really excited for it. If you're into steampunk or if you're into handmade weapons, these things are really sweet. I mean, it's got a really comfortable little handle on it. I like to put my thumb on there. It feels like it's got some good control that way. And the blade itself is fairly sharp. You can tell that this is a carbon steel, so you could sharpen it really nicely. The back of it isn't sharp at all, and neither is the top. But it's got these kind of cool little accent pieces on top that I like. And it just looks like a really unique knife. So I'm just going to measure it out a little bit. So the blade appears to be just over 6 inches, and so is the handle. So yeah, if you have any questions on that item, definitely let me know in the comments below. But let's take a look at another new item that we got. Okay, so the next item we're going to look at is the Steel Combat Claw. And I like these. I think they're pretty cool. We actually carry a bunch of them on KarateMart.com in different styles, lengths. We have some that have more of like a razor blade type look to them. They're neat. They're neat little weapons. This one in particular is just a little bit different than our other ones. And I'll just tell you why. For one, it's not sharp. It's not sharp on the top or the bottom. Even the tips are not overly sharp. And that's kind of a positive in the respect that if you're using this for cosplay or for a costume, you definitely don't want it to be sharp. So in that respect, this is a pretty cool little item. It feels well made too. I'm gonna guess this is a stainless steel. Yeah, it's a 440 stainless steel. It's got some sort of wood here, but it actually feels like kind of a softer, comfortable wood for your hands. Now when I put it on my fist, that doesn't feel overly great. That kind of hurts actually a little bit. Digs into my knuckles. So I would definitely not recommend hitting anything with this because it's probably going to bust into your knuckles and cut you pretty bad. But we actually sell these things called the Urban Ninja Gloves, which are these guys here. I've actually never put one of these on before, but they're kind of neat. They've got these kind of hardened knuckles, so you could use them for striking something. But I'm just going to try one on and see how it works with that claw, because I have a feeling it's going to look cooler and it's just going to be a whole lot more comfortable. So I've got pretty big hands, and this was an extra large glove, and that's pretty snug. I kind of like that. That knuckle is definitely protected really nicely. But let's see how it looks with the claw. Okay, that looks pretty sweet. So it almost looks like it's digging out of the glove if you were to use this for some sort of cosplay or costume or something. I like that. I think that looks pretty sweet. So I don't know. Definitely looks like a superhero weapon to me. All right, well, let's look at something else. Oh, and then the weight of this is approximately a pound. And let's just measure it real quick. So the blades are about 9.5 inches. The overall length is roughly 10.5 inches. A lot of people ask for those specifics, so I figure I'll just give them on video. But let's look at another item, and I'm going to take these gloves off really quick. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at are some bull whips. this is kind of interesting because I was releasing a video, I'd say it was probably about 2 months ago or so, and I had a number of people commenting for some reason that they wanted us to start carrying bullwhips. And we had always carried like a couple of them, but never like serious bullwhips. And so I started looking into it and like trying to find really good bullwhips. And I think I came up with a couple that are really nice. But you'll have to forgive me because I honestly don't know much about bullwhips. So I'm not going to be able to whip anything with them for you or show you how to use them. But I can definitely show them to you, let you see them a little bit. So the first one we're going to look at is the handmade leather bullwhip. And that's this guy here. So this is 9 feet long, and it's got kind of an interesting little cracker at the end. They call that a cracker or a popper. I didn't know that until today when I started kind of researching it a little bit, but this is all handmade leather, genuine leather, and it looks really cool. It feels like it's got some sort of wood or something inside that handle that they wrap the leather around. I like the feel of it, the way it feels good, but honestly, I'm not a bullwhipper, so I don't know, how they're supposed to feel or how you're supposed to use them. But it feels good to me. I like the feel of it, looks awesome. But this is the one that I'm really excited about. And this one is the genuine leather bullwhip. So I'm just gonna open it up real quick. Okay, and this guy just feels like quality. It's got a popper on the end that's just kind of interesting. So it looks like it's got like a kind of popper at the end over here, and then like a really long. You guys are going to have to forgive me because I just don't know a lot about these, but it looks cool. It looks really cool. And it feels good too. This one's a little heavier than the other one. Definitely a really well-made bullwhip. This one is 8 feet long, but I believe the popper is like 17 inches or something. There's more specifics on the website, so definitely check this out on the site and look at the specifics on there. But at least you can see on camera how it looks and just the quality of it. Like, it just feels really, really well made. Again, this is handmade, so they actually hand weave these things, which is pretty impressive. I can't imagine the time it would take to hand weave something like this. So, very cool bullwhips. All right, so this is our next item, and this is the concealed stun ring. So it's small. I like it because it's small, and it looks like you just flip that switch and it just shocks like that. So there's a little button on the back, so you kind of squeeze your hand and it shocks. And I guess what I like the most about it is if you're a jogger, whenever you're jogging, you always kind of want like an easy way to carry something. And if that's just in your hand, but I just want to say definitely check your laws in your area before even considering carrying something like this, because it could be completely illegal where you're from. Every city, state, municipality, country is different with their laws on these things, so definitely check that first. But I do think that this would be a pretty nice concealed weapon that could be carried to protect you if you were jogging or something. It's not, so when I feel it, the plastic, it's definitely a plastic on here, and it's not like overly dense plastic, so I don't think this could be used as any sort of striking instrument. In fact, I'd be kind of worried that you'd probably break it if you're going to do that. So don't consider this to be any sort of knuckle self-defense tool. I sure as heck wouldn't. But as far as a stun gun, it seems like a pretty decent little stun gun. But it said, the manufacturer said that this was 18 million volts, which if you've watched any of my previous stun gun videos, I always say don't trust that number at all. It's just not an accurate number. Manufacturers put these high numbers on their stun guns to try to convince people that their stun gun is stronger than other people's stun guns. But the truth of the matter is that volts will only tell you how far a spark will go through clothing or something. It's not really going to tell you how strong a stun is going to be. So the way I like to test these is I actually like to have my assistant shock me with every single stun gun that we carry, just to make sure that it is actually an effective weapon. So I'm going to pass this over to my assistant, and she's just going to shock me with it. But before we do this, definitely check out my other stun gun video, because it does explain more about voltage and amperage and things like that. But here you go. I'm just going to turn it on for her. Lights on. And she's going to have to reach over the table to shock me. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm getting I'm getting really used to getting stunned. But yeah, that definitely hurt, and she hit me in the forearm. And you know what it feels like is it feels like someone just took their nails and just dug right into your skin as hard as they could. So it's not a pleasant feeling at all. But I just don't want to sell stuff that's not effective, so I always need to check these things. I actually really like this stun gun. I think it's cool. I think the fact that it's so small and portable, and just, I don't know, I could see myself jogging with something like this. So I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to show you today that I've been actually really, really excited about is our Bounty Hunter Spear. So there's a video I made about 2-3 months ago where I built this. This was the Bounty Hunter that I built, and I built it on the fly in the video. Didn't take any time to figure out how to build it or anything. I just did it while it was being filmed. So if you haven't seen that video, definitely go back and watch it. And you know, kind of the cool things about it is it's a 2-piece Bounty Hunter Spear. It's made out of a very strong aluminum. It's got a nice solid end to it, and it uses this button snap click to connect together. So it's kind of a cool Bounty Hunter Spear. And I actually hit some things with it, but I knew when I built this wasn't what we were going to sell to our customers. I knew that we needed something a little more finished, a little bit better built, because this button snap clip, the problem with it is that it connects it, but it's not a really solid connection. When I shake that, you can feel that it just kind of doesn't feel as secure as it could be. And it's not going to fall apart or anything, but it could be better. So I passed on what I built to our engineers and had them build something that was just a little bit better, had a little bit more to it, and something that we can actually sell. So I'm going to introduce to you our new Bounty Hunter Spear. And here it is. And it looks very similar to what I built, except there's just more to it. It's got these really nice, and this is all handmade, hand machined. We make these in-house. It's got these nice grips, and for the spear, I decided it would be good to put grips up here for your hands, but also at the end in case you're swinging the spear and you need to grab it from the end. But it's also a 2-piece like mine, except we chose to actually make it a screw-in 2-piece. So we threaded the connector, and as you can see, it's really well made. This isn't some, quickly made, mass-produced weapon. This is actually hand-machined, hand-threaded. So that's a really solid connector. And look at the thickness of that metal. That is a really, really thick aluminum. We chose to go with a little heavier aluminum. I believe this is a, let's see, I wrote it down. This is a 3/16 inch wall on a 1 1/4 inch diameter aluminum. So it's a little thick as far as the diameter goes, which I wanted. I actually wanted it to kind of just be the right thickness to flow into the spearhead, which it does really nicely. And I wanted it to be a super thick wall density so that this could actually take some damage. Like this thing is not gonna break on you. You could whack this against something really, really hard, and that is not going to have any damage to it at all. It's a solid spear. Now, the downside to that is that it's heavy. This, because it's such thick metal, I'm going to guess this is right around 5 pounds total, which is, I mean, it's not too heavy, but 5 pounds is a pretty heavy spear. But it looks cool, and I just really like how it turned out. So, and because it's 2 pieces, it's perfectly portable. I'll just take that apart again and just kind of compare the sides. But it's 6 feet in length total. So each side is 3 feet. And yeah, I just really like this. I mean, this could actually be used as 2 separate weapons. So like if you look at the end there, look how he machined that. That is a hollow aluminum. It's got 3/16 inch walls, but it looks like it's completely solid. I mean, this is well made. This is well made in America, handmade. So definitely get yours on KarateMart.com. And if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Until next week, we'll see you Weapons Wednesday.